Welcome to the best evening sports show on the planet, the DMV Sports Talk Show, with your host, Razul McGee from Springfield, Virginia. We keep you updated on all sports in the DMV with the In the Zone Sports Talk Radio Network. And be sure to download the Try 99 TV app on any smart device and subscribe to In the Zone Sports Talk Television. The cost is $4.95. Thank you in advance for your support. Now, let's get into the DMV Sports Talk Show.
Now, welcome to the DMV Sports Show. I'm your host, Hassan McGee. It's Saturday. That's right, it's Saturday to hit the sports that you want to hear on your weekend. And in the DMV Sports Show, we have a lineup, as always, that you won't believe. We're going to talk about the Washington Commanders. They just started the rookie OTAs, and they just had another signing of a player from the XFL. Also, we're going to talk about the Baltimore Orioles on fire, beating one of the best, answers that he has one of the best answers on the show. Like I said, we have a lineup that you wouldn't believe. We're going to discuss Commanders and rookie OTAs and the news that's coming up that, Ron Rivera is actually happy about. We're talking about he just signed a XFL tackle, Jared Jones. And not only that, we have a new update. We're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to talk about the Wizards NBA lottery draft. They're ranked, they're set at 8, and there's one player that is versatile that could be possible be a Wizard, and I think he is a fit to be a Wizard. it was down to 2 players, but I think this one player is 100% the real deal. And we're also going to talk about Washington Capitals, who their next head coach is going to be. And it's going to be an enemy. I'll tell you that in a minute as well. And we're going to talk about the Baltimore Orioles on fire, sweeping the Blue Jays 6-2 and improving to 29-16. We're going to get to that as well. But before all that, we got questions from you guys. Yes, you guys, the fans. The call-in number is 512-543-4662. I say again, 512-543-4662. Call in, state your name, where you're from, and what team you represent, of course. Now, said all that in the mouthful. Let's get to the 2 callers that just came in. Maryland, the coach, Steve Davison, and both are Commander fans. Let's go. Let's talk about this news. Ron Rivera is so happy about this news, folks. It's just uncanny. He wanted this for the worst way. And this news is he wants to play a preseason scrimmage with no team other than the Baltimore Ravens. And he feels that this is a team matchup that can potentially put us over into the playoff and maybe further down the line, the division, the Eastern Division championship. How do you feel about that? Marilyn, let's go with you, and then we'll talk Steve.
I think it's cool. I just don't want, since it's going to be like a practice game, I don't want the players to get hurt before they actually start
Right.
the regular season. And I was like, I don't know right there.
Hey, I totally agree with that assessment. What about you, Steve?
Well, first thing, I'm glad they got their assistant trainer back. You know, he was clear of every wrongdoing, so I'm glad with that. And they have a better training staff now. They one of the best in playing for the war. I mean, who would you rather play? The best team in the AFC. It's considered by most people, and their defense is rock solid. So why start a new quarterback with the best defense in the AFC? So that's gonna be great, you know, to play Baltimore. And I see our defensive line and stuff with the new cornerback. He's gonna be playing against the top receivers and, you know, with the agent himself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's gonna be great.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm just protective. I can't help it. I'm just thinking about all those games afterwards. That's what I'm doing. I can't help it.
well, it's okay because I have the same feeling too that, you know, we don't want nobody else to get hurt like Chase and other players before him. But my main concern of playing the Ravens, I believe we had a on-field fight a few years back with the Ravens, and it was a scrimmage, and it was a fist fight that ended, I think, at 4 hours. It took 4 hours for them to stop, and it was a back and forth between D'Angelo Hall and another wide receiver. No, that was Texans. Excuse me. But D'Angelo Hall did get in a fight with one of the players in that scrimmage, and then we had to play them in the regular season, and we got torched. But I don't want another fight like that to break out because it exposes us in our weaknesses, and then it gives the other team more of an advantage to beat us in the regular season. I think Ron Rivera has to be very cautious, especially Eric Bieniemy, to come up with a dummy book that doesn't expose us in that same manner. Now, we have really good pieces of the puzzle. We have really good, talented players like Benjamin St. Jude, Derek Forster, you know, the draftees, Emmanuel Forbes, KG Henry, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name. But these players are now looking, hungry. This is what you always want on defense. You want players hungry. But my main question I'm going to ask both of you, and this is the question I have to ask, and I hate saying this, but where do you think Chase Young will go? Even though they didn't sign him to his 5th-year option, do you think he'll be traded this year or beginning at the end of this coming season? Let's go with Steve and then Marilyn. You're next.
Okay. Next year, the Washington Commanders will have a $99 million salary cap, plus whatever comes into the 2024. I think they're going to keep Chase Young because that's the update defense. And I think they're going to work with him. I mean, it depends on how he plays this year. And Chase Young knows, and Sweat knows this is a money year for both of them. If they play good, the money's there. And Matthew Johnson and the ownership going to want both of them to play. If they play good, that's the only thing. If they play good, and I think both of them know this is the money here, because if they don't play good, they're going to get, scratched off the team, and ain't nobody else going to want it. So I know they want to stay Commanders, and they're going to get some money. All you got to do is play subpar. They ain't telling you to play great. You just play subpar, and the money's going to come.
Right.
Well, I noticed with Chase, like, what was it? Before they started the season, he was dealing with some psychological, because he had been hurt. And, I don't know whether that was from other people, which is a big possibility. So he needs to be, up psychologically.
Right.
And he is darn good at spotting play. The opposite option is going to do.
Good point.
He spots it before anybody just about.
Right.
I mean, I kept an eye on him. I was like, oh, yeah, he got it. You got to say it.
No. I mean, both of y'all have the right answers. I, in my opinion, we can't let this talented player go, because it's a narrative that I have seen with this organization so many years, where even though the player has lost his ability to function, like Alex Smith broke his leg, where
Yeah, his bone was sticking out.
Yeah, his bone was sticking out, and then he came back and took us to the playoffs. He should have stayed with the team, just like when Brian Arapaho.
He should have been a coach.
Yeah, quarterback coach. He should have been a quarterback coach.
Quarterback coach, because I thought, wow, it was just, he could sit down with him, and even for a few minutes, it changed.
Exactly.
And it was awesome. It was awesome.
Exactly.
Like, that man needs to be out doing that. And even the chief coach said if ever wants to come, he said he would be the first in line.
Right. And that's how I felt about look what happened when Brian Leftwich. Brian Leftwich was a quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, then retired, and then became a quarterback coach for the Buccaneers. And he could have. I mean, that's where I feel like Alex Smith should have came back and did. Not only that, look what happened to Brian Arapaho. Brian Arapaho had a pec tore his pec, and then became a Titan. Then he went into this whole cupcake bakery with another player, but he could have been a defensive end coach. You know,
Yeah.
there's so many players out there that in our organization we push away because they got injured, but we could have offered a safe haven for them to be on our roster, our staff. I think that's where we lose the mindset of what players can do versus what they play on the field and what they can do on the sidelines. So
That's right.
I believe Chase Young should stay because I think his talent is needed, especially on that left side that we desperately need so much. Now, keep in mind we do have plugins, we do have reserves, which is great, but to get Chase out there to draw a three-team double team on him, so that way there's spots open, can easily help us win a game. I think if Jack Del Rio don't see the potential of putting him there and keeping him, Ron Rivera is missing out on this ASAP. So let me go ahead and move on to a subject, but we're going to still stay on the Commanders. This is also important that I need to have you two to help me out since everybody's a Commander fan at the moment. The home games, Cardinals, Bills. Let's start with the Bills because the Bills are a more bigger threat than the Cardinals are. This home game on the 24th is by far the test of all champions. If we beat this AFC team on our home field with the name Commander, with the mascot that looks like a pig, that is a pig.
Damn.
And I'm just giving you food for thought. And I'm just gonna lay it out there for you. I want this answered for me because if we beat this team, what does that seem like? That would that boost the fan base to come back and fill the stands, or would they be like, well, let's see what we do against another team at home?
Well, you don't want just the whole thing to come back for all of it. There's
Right.
another thing I'm going to point out, Randall.
Okay.
They were talking about making white out with red, and I'm like, you don't want to look like the Cardinals.
True. That is a good point. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Seriously.
But
I mean, seriously. No. We don't want to look like the Cardinals.
you're right. I
We
mean,
want our own color. That's it.
absolutely.
That's absolutely, it's our color. And I've been on the room all my freaking life. I'm not on a dress.
Well, we just got another caller. Caller, state your name for the record.
It was all blue.
It's Louis Tenor of the Enhanced Sports Show that's here on 4 to 6 p.m. We got the host,
Hey, Lou.
none other than the Louis Tenor. Louis, I got a question for you. We were just talking about Chase Young and we were just talking about the Bills in game 2, but I want to move this on to one question directly for you. So,
Okay.
the New York Knicks are now considering shopping Julius Randle. What are your thoughts?
To shop Julius Randle. I don't know. I don't think he was that bad. I mean, he did a guy after some moments in his playoffs. That was just whack. I could keep him around for at least 1 more year. Don't ship him off just yet.
So you think he should be kept?
Yeah.
Well, so there's a lot of rumors going around that he might be shipped to the Washington Wizards in exchange for Bradley Beal. How would you feel about that?
I think you're going to throw up.
I
Bradley Beal coming here? Uh-oh.
well, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't believe in the rumors of the NFL's trade because they're horrible. There's no reason. There's no reason to ship Julius Randle to Washington for Bradley Beal when Bradley Beal is not coming. But then what you're saying to Julius Randle is, we don't want you here. You did great when you did, but you lost. Goodbye. And that's a mental play that you have to play on people when you do stupid stuff like that. That's why I don't like whoever's doing those rumor trades. They need to stop. That is a bad omen on a player. It's like
bringing in Beal will be a bad omen for us.
Yeah, if you remember how the player would hate to be on the Xbox of the NBA NFL 2.0, and there would be a big hex on the player. Yeah, John Man, that's it. Thanks, Steve. That's the same way how you do a basketball player by putting him on the trade rumor and saying, "Here, go ship this person out," and they're like, "Wait, what? I played well. I got 36 points the other night. What are you talking about?" But see, that's what I'm talking about right there. Let's move on to
Brazil,
yeah.
I did want to ask about. I saw this on TV, one sports station, and I couldn't believe it was a Wizard.
Yeah, go ahead.
The guy's a good player, and he made bucks. I'm like, but yet they caught him, I don't know how many times, with a gun.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
That really gets lit up.
So
it really, and I can't believe, and they are the type of players that young ones look up to.
So here's
don't do that.
okay. So I know who the player you're referring to. This player was caught first time, I think it was this year, doing that. He lost to the Jazz and in Utah and decided to go to a new nightclub. His name is John Morant. John Morant was drafted by the Grizzlies, and he went to a Utah strip joint and went on Instagram, waving a gun while singing lyrics, and everybody was crowding around him, and he was drunk and waving a gun. It was a little Magnum, I guess. Oh no, it's a little Glock. Excuse me. And he was pointing at the screen, and then people around him. Now, see, common sense would have said if that gun would have went off, you would have had 3 people in front of you dead. He didn't take heed to that, so the nightclub called the cops. The cops came, arrested John Morant, and in the state, was it Colorado? I think it was Colorado. Colorado states that you can't have a gun in a establishment, but you can have it outside. No, that was Utah, excuse me. So in establishment, they called him because of that. So the NBA saw that, fined him, suspended him for 8 games. Then when he lost to the Lakers this year, he was caught in a strip club again, waving a gun this time. And now the NBA is viewing this, and he could be suspended indefinitely and lose his job, or could be traded depending on how severe the second one is. So the NBA and the Grizzlies are both looking at this and investigating it and see what else they could do to prevent this from happening. John Morant has no filter. He has no concern. But this is another thing I want to say. When NBA prospects get into the NBA and finally make it, they don't have the common sense to understand this is a privilege to be in the NBA, knowing that you're representing a team that you could potentially take to the finals and win a championship. Now, you came close You came close, but you let the Lakers off the hook the second game and third game. But you waited to do this dumb mess when you could have just like focusing like Jordan did, come back much stronger. No, you go wave a gun and start singing and getting drunk. You know, your uncle could do that. You don't have to make it your obligation to be your uncle. You know, let your uncle drink.
I've got to say, I can't believe in a bar where she's going to get drunk that they would allow anywhere. They would allow you to bring an armed weapon in. I mean, that's stupid. The people who are going to get drunk there.
Well, you're absolutely right. You are, Marilyn. You're right.
I grew up. I know. And my dad was a state champion rifle shooter, and so was my grandfather and my great grandfather.
Right.
I learned, stay the blank away from them.
Right. Exactly.
You're going to get your butt beat.
But see, that's the problem. They don't have the structure to tell these grown adults not to do this. You're representing the NBA. Don't do that. You're representing the Grizzly. Exactly. Don't do that. You're doing this. You're gonna discredit yourself, and then you won't be able to play. Then you go on national TV and sit in front of a reporter, and the reporter asks you these certain questions. Do you like to have fun? Why did you go in there and throw and wave a gun? Well, I blame it on the music, hip hop.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. You can't blame it on music.
Yeah.
Come on. You're a grown adult. Take responsibility. Stop this foolishness and go back to playing basketball the way you know you can.
That's right.
It's just it just yeah. I just no. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think she is 100% right on that. I mean, because John Moffat is an idiot. I mean, not once but twice. And then the friend who did it, they did. He's a co-conspirator. Like Lou had his buddy on the show, and he said a co-pilot in it. And we all agree on Lou's show on that. So, I mean, he was the idiot of the month. I mean, you an idiot. You making all this money, staying in fortune, and you want to flush it down the freaking
it down the toilet.
Absolutely.
You are correct on that stuff. And you got some NBA say, okay, just like what happened with the Wayne Haskins, right?
Yeah.
He started off being a bucket. And it cost him his life. It cost him his life instead of staying your best home like a lot of other athletes do. Stay home. You don't need to go to the club. You don't need to throw your guns in the air and stuff like that. Go home. It could have cost the rest his life if he would have been the wrong police officer and they would have shot him in his brain dead,
Right.
It's stupid.
Yeah, his family is stupid. Yeah. They're stupid.
What do you think?
What?
What do you think, Lou?
Say what you want to, but yeah, they're stupid. The fact is, I hope they do. Because these guys, this is true, these guys talk him into, going and doing, and see, that happens quite a bit.
Right.
And I've seen it.
Absolutely.
And I don't like it.
You're right, Marilyn.
They should pay. I really do.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Marilyn. Lou, what do you think?
I mean, you're supposed to work in mistakes the first time. Well, I know I do one, I'll never do it again. Something where you go out and do the same thing again. Which I knew this personally. And you're not really preserving a game in it, with the team. How else should you be able to be? How do you do it once but twice? If you make it a place, you haven't won anything at all. So because one of the things, a bad example for the league and for kids who want to be just like you. So you better train up, or there's going to be a time with the league and the youth want to be just like you. I mean,
that's right.
If it's up these athletes in football, as let's say a good example, not do something so ridiculous, for the run. You're supposed to go wrong on the field, on the court, and off as well. And unfortunately for you, you haven't learned. You're not even right. I mean, you're great on the court, but off the court, you are a problem.
Right. Right.
That's right.
Here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. You had the greats, Shaq and Barkley, speaking on this issue. And this issue, just like we're talking, they talk the same sentiments of this guy came into the league having 100% the best ability, like a John Wall, like a Bradley Beal, and his jumping ability like Jordan. And to do things like this is completely, utterly disfortunate to the state of Tennessee. You're representing the Grizzly, but you're acting like a 5-year-old. Even though 5-year-olds don't drink or party like that. But my point is, his behavior is childish. That's where I'm getting at. And then you're gonna do the first time, you go, well, I won't do it again. And then at the end of the year or the end of your season, you're gonna go right back to doing the same thing. That's not learning your lesson. That's like, I'm rich. I can do whatever I want. If I want to go back and wave a gun, I could go back and wave a gun until you shoot somebody. And then that's your season's over with. Your year's over. Your life is done. It happens to the best of them. Like, I can remember one person who did that, and it just rang in my head like it shows the red flashes. Plaxico Burress, wide receiver of the New York Giants, went into an establishment with a gun in his sweatpants, took and shot himself in the knee. And he was out for a whole season. Why? Because he thought he was big and bad with the gun. How are you going to shoot yourself in the knee in sweatpants? I mean, this dude had no brains whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense. A gun is not something you should be flashing in an establishment, or let alone take out into the public. Because, somebody else can be holding a gun too that could potentially put a hole in you. I mean, it's like going into a supermarket and you just want to get some food, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, what you want to do? I got a gun in my sock, and then you shoot off your ankle, and then what? What you gonna do? You can't play the sport no more. And then you're just looking at yourself like, why did I bring that gun in my sock? Why did I shoot myself in the foot? Oh, my ankle's gone. They can't restrict. They can't put my ankle back together. Well, that's it. That's your season. You can be an analyst.
That's absolutely right, man.
It just makes no sense. So, I mean, the things that the kids don't understand is when you look into an organization that you've been watching since childbirth, since your dad introduced you to a team that he loves and want you to appear in, or you just go into an NBA draft knowing that a team is going to like your style of playing, but you have no understanding of the organization, you're going to play your heart out for that organization. But then you go and you go and see, I get into that mode. I apologize for that, the 3-letter word. But if you go in and throw it away, you go throw it away because of the fact that you're rich and you have now you have this entourage that you never had before. That's not what the NBA is about. The NBA is about establishing your team into a best decision to win, not going to a nightclub, brandishing your weapon, singing lyrics of a song that you like, and getting drunk on national TV. If you wanted to do that, there's some reality TV shows on CBS and ABC that you should try out for. Don't be an NBA player. then you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can go. Hey, listen. No, if I can say what I want to say,
I don't want to get started on that.
if I can say what I want to say,
We can start our own show on this network.
right? Exactly. You would just go to Dish. Dish would air everything because Dish would pay anything because they're going out of business. They're like, you look, come sign with us. You can say whatever you want. You could brandish that weapon. We'll call that. We'll name your weapon. Just come on, sign this dotted line. We'll pay you millions.
Well, I'm going to tell you something that Roanoke is doing. It's starting to work. Because people need food. They're actually having them bring in their guns and they get free food. And I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Right there.
But before we get into that,
Cool. I volunteer at a place called the Wider Circle that gives free clothes to men, women, children, and babies and stuff. And they get stuff from Silver Spring, Maryland and stuff. And it's brand new. Some of the tags. I mean, real stuff. Gucci. I mean, I got a pair of clothes I almost say cost $1,500. I got it for free. I work in the store department, so I get first crack. But I said, no, let the people get the stuff first, and then whatever left over, I can get it myself for free. And that's what I mean. It's free. I be on the bus like, it's free. It's free. All the sports fans and stuff. I said, they can have Commanders membership, jerseys. It's free. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Isn't that something?
That's great.
Yeah.
But before we get to anything else, I want to.
The chief of Roanoke City, and he got the idea going, and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm seeing that is awesome, so they can get food, and I'm like, this is great.
Well,
I want them to keep doing that.
Before we get to anything else, I want to bring up Maryland. Maryland, what team just won the championship?
Sorry. Say what?
Your what team? What hockey team won the championship?
Wait a minute. The championship?
Yeah. Well, remember you just told me about your Roanoke.
Yeah, I talked about Roanoke. Now we're talking. Are you thinking of the rail yard dogs?
Yes, it is. Yes, I am. That's why I want to bring you up so that way you can tell them, the listeners, about it.
Got the President's Cup, man. President's Cup. I'm like, yeah.
The Railroad Dogs won their championship game. And that's why we're bringing Maryland up so she can, tell you guys about it and what was the score, so we can give them praise, because this team went through a lot of changes, a lot of transition, and made it happen for them this year.
Yeah, I'm proud of them because they actually would come and play right here. I mean, in Benton. And my brother would take off and go up there and watch the game. It's pretty cool. I was like, and everybody on WBDJ7 was just, they were really hyped up. And I even posted a picture. I was like, yeah! We got it.
That is great. That is great.
Awesome.
Congrats to them, the Railroad Dogs winning their championship. Hats off to them. Cannot complain one thing about it. So let's go ahead and move to the next topic. This is the first time we actually made past the Commanders on my show, which is a good thing. But we are going to the Baltimore Orioles. Yes, the Baltimore Orioles are on fire. They are 29-16, and now they're in a battle with Toronto for the second straight game, and they are now winning the game 6-5 and moving into 29-16. This game has a staple of playoffs written all over it, and the Orioles are making their prime example that they want to be in the playoffs and potentially in the championship moving forward. So let me ask you, Lou, do you think we're going to move past the playoffs this year?
Well, I think they want it.
I think they're going to represent the IFL this year. I think they'll even get past the first round. I mean, this is not the same Orioles team that we just saw a few years ago. We're still, a trash them. I mean, it's improved. They got like practice. The offense is better. They really played the Blue Jays this year.
Absolutely.
So, you guys are on the right track. I mean, well, for this one, because a lot better than last season. I will not mention.
Even better than the Yankees? Even better than the Yankees, Lou? Let's bring it up to the floor. Even better than the Yankees?
No. They're doing fine right now. They've won, I think, 4 of the last 5. They just by the fact they were in half the division, they started to buck up on the record. So I wouldn't put the Yankees to bed yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on the Yankees. I wanted to make sure that you give, a partial praise. But let's go with Marilyn. Marilyn, what do you think about the Orioles and their record?
If they want it, like I think, and I feel like they do, I think they're going to pull it in. Or, I'm just like, they really want it. That's
Yes. You can see it. You can see it. You absolutely right. And that's and I'm sorry. I'll give my thoughts. But Steve, go ahead. What do you think about the Orioles' 29-16 record in this middle of the season? Your thoughts?
You know what? I thought I would be dreaming that I would see the Orioles not like that this year because the last couple of years, especially, I go back, Luke can tell you, when the Orioles started 0-21. Remember that, Lou? And they were little.
Yeah, look how far they've come.
Yeah, look how, you're right, y'all. Look how far they came. I mean, they are the hardest team in baseball right now.
Yes.
And I'm like you. The Yankees can creep up and beat anybody at any given time. So,
yes.
But I feel like Orioles on this streak right now. They're doing real great. I mean, my team, the Nationals, they like at the bottom of the public right now. So, it is what it is. But,
absolutely.
I was happy to get going good.
So my thing is that I'm 100% sold on the team. That they got. See, here's the thing that I've been asking for the last 3 years for this team: better pitching and better in middle hitting. They got drastically improved in the pitching department. The rotating pitchers between right hand and left-handed pitcher is balanced. That's all I asked. And what's even better, you have a relief pitcher with the ERA of 1.2. 1.2 is the best relief pitcher in the league. And it happened to be Batista of the Baltimore Orioles. And when I asked about the rotation in the pitching, that you had to have a whip of 1 or less. We have 1.12, which is better whip than anything. Now, on the hitting side, I have always wanted a batter to hit in the cycle. The cycle, we have three hitters that hit the cycle. This is by far the most balanced team I've seen since Cal Ripken and Brady Anderson. And we are number 9, I think, in the regular season, in the AL, with at bats at 1,540. We have a hit percentage of 390. We have the home run of 58. No, what bothers me is we're not top 3, and that's not. I mean, that's a big problem for me. But the two main teams at top is Tampa Bay and Atlanta Braves. Now I'm scareful of Atlanta Braves. They're the returning champions here, and they have a really good pitching, better than us. Hitting, I'm not too sure about, but their pitching is phenomenal. But we have a balanced team. If we make it to the playoffs, we're better off in the second round, third round. I think this team can go to the third round and go to the World Series. Now I know, I'm getting a little happy. Yeah, I am, because this percentage could potentially put us in where Randy Johnson used to be. What's his name? Kurt Schilling, and and all the El Duque. El Duque had a whip of 1.12. And ERA of 0.75. I mean, this is exactly where we need to be. We're improving every game. We're improving every week. We're moving up the ladder gradually, not just slowly, gradually. I never seen this team move that fast. When we had Mike Messina actually had the best ERA for the Birds before they traded him to the Yankees, which I hated. I still hate it to this day. But hats off to him. For winning the World Series with the Yankees that year. But I was still upset. But this is the best team the Orioles have been by far I ever seen. I'm just speechless. But let's move on to the next topic. This is a great. I'm glad that I got you three here. Best topics that we ever finished from Baltimore Orioles, Washington Commanders, and Capitals. Well, not Capitals, Chase Young. But let's move on to the Washington Wizards. Now, the Washington Wizards season is over with, but the NBA is still going on. Denver is now up 2-0 to the Lakers. Miami surprisingly won game 2. What is going on with the Celtics? I'm shocked. I don't even know what's going on. Are these the same teams? But I'm having a heart attack looking at. I turned off the Miami and Boston game because I was like, "Yo, this is not the same team." I'm clicking off. I'm like, "Yo, this is." Go ahead, Marilyn.
I do want to. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Was LeBron? He wasn't playing during, the regular season that much.
Well,
now with the playoffs, boom, he's out there.
Well, that's a great question. I'm going to answer that. Well, the reason why he wasn't playing, he was injured, maybe 45% of the time. And what the coach did was he didn't sit him out. He reduced his minutes so that way when the playoffs came, he could play the full minutes of 35, maybe 40, to get the team into a better position in the finals, and it worked. He rested him, beating the Warriors, but the Warriors beat themselves. So he didn't really beat the Warriors. Warriors helped him out. Yeah, I don't like LeBron either. I said publicly that he's a statistic champion. All he wanted to do was inflate the numbers, which is fine. That's where he can go to the NBA fame, Hall of Fame for. But he's not a Michael Jordan. He's not a Kobe Bryant. He's not even Shaq. He's just everybody below Shaq, and Kobe. I wouldn't even put him in my top 10. He's like top 15.
Yeah.
But
Kobe was my favorite.
and I to say that he's the greatest of all time, like this the debate, I still think he's not. The only one that still, I mean, and a lot of people agree with me, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. 6 championships is hard to do. You know, when Bill Wellington was playing, he had 10 championships. But the reason why he has 10 championships, he didn't have the competitiveness of other teams like Michael Jordan had, right? Michael Jordan had Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Shaq. He had Kobe. You know, those are competitors. Those are weapons in the NBA that he had a battle night in and night out. He had Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah beat him so many times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But Bill Wellington had Wes Unseld. And they went back and forth. But, Bill Wellington, he didn't have the talent pool like we did, right? So they wasn't really all that great. I mean, Julius Erving was back then, but Julius Erving won some of those, But my point is that Michael Jordan deserves the GOAT of all time. Because if you look at the stats, 6 championships, a championship every year in that time span, nobody else has ever done that. 6-0. That's on a call for. LeBron, he helps other team when they ask for it, but he's not a team player. He's a team GM. Let's put it like that. He's a team GM, and if you don't do what he says, he's going to find a way to cut you out. That's who he is on the court. And right now, he's not going to win this one. They might take one in game 4. I'm talking about Denver. The Lakers might come back and make it 2-1. But I feel like Denver's going to get, game 3.
They got a game tonight.
Yeah. I think the Lakers got this game, but game 4, Denver got this, and then they can put them away at home and call it a wrap. That's how I feel. But the Wizards have the 8th seed in the NBA lottery. And the one player that sticks out to me that the Wizards desperately need, the versatile, the speed, the quickness, the elusiveness, and the excitement when they dunk, is none other than Jarris Walker, Houston. And this guy is 100% exactly what we need. He can shoot the 3. He can shoot from paint. He can shoot a jumper. He can dunk. And he can block like crazy. He's like a tall Ben Wallace. And I think we've been resting assured trying to get, bench players to come to the Wizards. We can draft a real good talent. June 22nd, 8 p.m. Jarris Wallace at number 8. And when we do that, he is ready to go. And this Wes Unseld Jr. can coach him up to play defense in the paint. And we can keep all our nucleus together. I guarantee this team would be so dangerous. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get Marilyn, Lou, and then Steve on this too. So my question is, do the Wizards have this player to be very good and potentially get us to a play-in tournament and be, and actually win something? What are your thoughts, Marilyn?
I believe so. I believe, good forward. He's that good. I know I wrote some talk about it. And I'm like, it'd be nuts if we didn't get him. And I am going to say with any team, get your rebounds. Get those rebounds.
Yes.
I'm always saying, set it up, set it up, set it up.
You're right. No, you're right. The rebounds are very key to any type of winning the game. 20 rebounds in a game can potentially put you in the W column. Lou, what are your thoughts?
Gotta do it.
I think you gotta win it here. So I agree.
Okay, Steve, what are your thoughts?
I think the Grizzlies should go after Ben Shepherd from Belmont, the superstar. I mean, he was a senior, 4 years starter. I think because he averaged 25 points a game, right? And he got game. I mean, he can play defense. He got a high IQ. Music. Remember, he's 6'5" and socks. So when he put on some shoes, he's 6'7". And socks, okay. That's it. He can bare feet it, okay. But when he put on tennis shoes, he's about 6'7", and he got a wingspan, and like I said, as long as Ben Wallace also. And that man can shoot lights out. So even if my boy Bill gets traded and stuff, or he want to stay, he got a John Wall lookalike that is not jealous or something like him, and they can score points as well because they got a good center and two forwards. So you play them there, and remember we signed the point guard last year.
Yeah.
So we can put them together, and we can shoot the lights out with any team in the NBA. Let's not put the Bradley Beal trade into existence because the Bradley Beal has said that he doesn't want to go nowhere but the Wizards, and I feel like we let go John Wall too soon, and I wish the new GM can reach him back into the fray and bring him back, because this man doesn't not need to be at home. He needs to be with the organization and retire. So we could put his name in the Raptors, We remember this. We gave him everything. We even put his picture on the wall. You know what I'm saying? On John Wall, we put the picture on him.
But you see, the thing about it is John Wall was forced out by Tommy Shepard, and he wanted to retire a Wizard. He could have been a commentator. He could be a head coach.
Just like Agent Orange. We forced them out. I like the Agent Orange, arena.
Right. But, there's so many.
That incident with Cummings, whatever his name is, he had to go, But I think this group of Wizards, once they get Shepard, from Belmont, I think this would be a great team. All it is another superstar, and Bill cannot stay at forward,
Right.
A little center. We have a great team. All we need is rebounding, but everybody out rebound the Wizards. That's a known fact.
Well, not necessarily. Because we have Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford is one of the best in the paint. And here's the problem: we don't get out rebounded. We get outscored because we don't have the defense. And sometimes we put up 100 points. Sometimes we put up 132. What other teams have is defense, and they have discipline. We don't have a defensive coach like a Randy Whitman that can potentially, because remember, the Wizard was number one in the NBA of being a defensive playing team, because we had Gortat, we had Otto Porter, we had Ariza, and then we had John Wall, and John Wall was the facilitator. Now we don't have that. We just have Bradley Beal and a lot of shooters, but no defense. And then sometimes we have too many turnovers, and that's been our staple. Turnovers kills the transition game, and that's the whole thing.
Exactly.
So So this could be
That's
a
why
turning
I'm always
point.
going, get them on, get them on. Get them
Yeah,
on.
exactly. Oh man, we were just one topic away from completing a trifecta, but I want to call it a quits. It's 6:59. So I'm just gonna say this: the DC Defenders lost their game against the Arlington Renegades, 35-26, losing the championship. But they had one heck of a game. I'm upset. And also, the Capitals are going to hire a head coach, and this head coach is not other than but the enemy, Tampa Bay Buccaneers assistant head coach Jeff HALPREN, and he might just get it. And I'm really upset about this. But so with that being said, I want to thank Marilyn, Steve, Lou for coming in here and blessing me with your knowledge and your expertise. I want y'all all to come back. We were supposed to have a Jets fan and a Denver fan here, but they did not make it. They were going to talk about their team and how they were going to beat us. I told them, you know what? Don't tell me. Come on to the show. And I'm pretty sure I had like a whole bunch of Commander fans and Dallas fans here to talk about it. And they were like, sure. I gave them the call number and they didn't call in. But next week, they're probably coming in. So everybody be prepared. Write down your notes because everybody's going to have their facts. And I know there's going to be a lot of yelling, so I'm going to have to be the referee and blow my whistle. Oh, man. They were very adamant about telling Dallas fans and Commander fans that they're not going to go nowhere this year. So I was like, "Oh, hey, come on the show."
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta get off this page before I tell them to put on a cactus.
Well, save the energy. Save the energy for next Saturday because I want all this on the show. All right, so Marilyn, Lou, and Steve, thank you for coming in. I gotta let y'all go. Have a great weekend.
All right, good night.
Hey.
Good night, y'all.
All right, good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for coming to the Dmv Sports Show. I'm your host, Rasul McGee. Don't worry, I got you next Saturday. So if you want to call in, it's 512-543-4662. Make sure you state your name and who you're representing. And don't be shy. Speak your facts. I'm out. Have a great weekend. Peace.